Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm Meghan Maes. I'm an attorney licensed in Minnesota. This is Being Civil in Minnesota. This is a weekly podcast where I come live at 10 o'clock every Saturday and talk about issues impacting families and the courts. This is not intended to be legal advice, nor am I your lawyer. This is just a resource for individuals and families who want to have a little bit more information about what's going on in their case, as far as the procedure goes or the rules. So today I'm going to be talking a little bit about a parenting education course, what they are, when they're required, and where you can find additional information about a parenting education course. So first of all, let's start with what is a parenting education course. This is a course that is 8 hours long, and it can be either virtual or in person. And the intent of these programs is to educate families who are going through a transition, help them with conflict resolution skills, talk to the parents about the impact that the divorce is going to have on them and the children, dispute resolution, that kind of thing. So that is the intent of these programs. And the idea behind these programs is wonderful. There's a lot of different options for parents to choose between what kind of parenting education course they want to take. The court is the place that orders these parenting education courses to take place. And the court does that when there is a disagreement about either custody or parenting time. Custody is decision making. Major legal custody decisions are about school choices around schools, education, and religion. You're also going to have to take a parenting education course if you don't agree on the schedule. Most of the time, if you're in court, you're not going to agree on all of these issues, making the course mandatory for almost most parties. So if you don't agree on everything and you're in court, you're required to do this course within 30 days of the document being filed with the court. So when a document is filed with the court, it starts the time. All parties have 30 days to comply with this statutory requirement, which can be found in Minnesota Statute 518.157. You can find information about parenting education courses on the Minnesota Judicial Branch website at www.mncourts.gov. Go to the help topics and then go to the parenting education section. They have a list of all the approved courses. The education course has to be approved, and there is a list of those on the Minnesota Judicial Branch website. So make sure that if you are going to these parenting education courses, that you are going to the ones that will comply, and so that you don't have to do this twice. Okay, the court is going to require me to do this parenting education course. There may be certain limited circumstances where you might want to ask the court to waive that requirement, and the court has the authority to do that for good cause. I'm struggling to think of, why you wouldn't be able to do an 8-hour course. The statute does talk about if there is domestic abuse, that the parties would not have to take the class at the same time. There could be safety measures put in place. A lot of the classes are online. And so the likelihood of being in the physical location as an individual who makes you experience safety concerns, those chances are lower. But if you're in that same class, there may be some power and control dynamics that you may not be able to get the most out of the class. So you may want to make those kinds of decisions about when and where you want to do your class. If you don't do it, a court has the ability to sanction the parties. Sanction can, it could be monetary, it could be some sort of fine. Really, whenever sanctions are a possibility, avoid it at all costs. Get it done early, provide your certificate to the court, file that, make sure that there's no question regarding whether or not you have complied with this requirement. I get asked a lot about the costs for these services, and they do vary. The good news is if cost is a concern and you are proceeding in the court, having your fees waived because your income is low, then this fee would also be waived. So make sure that you know whether or not you have applied for fee waivers. If you haven't, those forms can be found on the Minnesota Judicial Branch website under court forms, and they're called in forma pauperis. That would significantly lower the burden of families taking these courses. Now, there are going to be sometimes issues with families not having a smart device or internet connectivity. Most local libraries have internet and terminals available if you are able to find your way to your local library. If you absolutely can't do the course, again, you can request the court waive it. I think the chances of that are pretty low, but I can be surprised. So that's all about parenting education courses. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them on the video. If not, go ahead and post your questions for next Saturday in the group Being Civil in Minnesota. And I hope you have a great week. I'll see you next time.